Welcome back everybody, MC here with another video, and today we are going to do a tier list for all of the potions in Terraria. And let's get started. There's a lot of potions to go over. So the first potion we're going to look at is the ammo reservation potion. And this potion gives you a chance to not spend bullets when shooting. So I think we're going to put this now onto B tier. Then we have the archery potion. The archery potion, of course, increases your damage with arrows and lowers your chance of using up your arrows. I think we're also going to put this onto B tier. Then we have the battle potion, and the battle potion is going to increase the spawn rate of enemies. I think again we're going to go B tier on this. I think some people would go A tier on this guy, but I believe because it's not going to affect damage in any way and it's very situational, we're going to go B tier on that one as well. Then we have the builder potion. The builder potion is an item that I don't really use very often because I don't really like to build in Terraria that much. So any builders out there are going to be very mad at me right now. For now, I'm going to put this into D tier. Then we have the calming potion. Now the calming potion reduces enemy spawn. So I think the calming potion, we're going to put that onto D tier. And we'll see if we can change that later. Maybe it'll be bumped up to C tier. It's definitely not B tier in my opinion. Then we have the crate potion, and the crate potion is very useful, very utility. And because of the amount of items that you need to get in crates without having to go to a different world or to a different seed, I think the crate potion has been buffed massively over the last couple of patches. So I think we're going to put the crate potion into A tier just because it's a good utility item, and it would be very low A tier as well, like very close to B tier. I think it's very good utility, very easy to make, and because it's so easy to make, that's why I'm going to put it into the A tier. And then we have the Danger Sense potion. Now the Danger Sense potion is a potion that allows you to see harmful blocks and the like in the area that you're in. It's great for using in dark areas so you can see what's around you. But once again, very utility, and it's not going to help you that much because a lot of the blocks in the game that are actually going to hurt you aren't going to do that much damage. So I would put the Danger Sense potion into C tier personally. Then we have the Endurance potion. Now the Endurance potion reduces damage taken, which is very useful, obviously. It's a little bit more difficult to make though. So the damage reduction that you get is going to cost you in terms of time fishing, and if you're looking to make a lot of these, it's going to be a lot of extra work. However, it's still not the most difficult item to make and reduces damage by 10%, which is quite good. So I think we are going to have to put this into A tier, honestly. People are going to kill me for this one. This is the Featherfall potion, and the Featherfall potion will allow you to fall slowly and you'll be able to control your falling a little bit better. But it's very situational and kind of negated once you have wings, in my opinion. So I think I'm going to have to put this into D tier. I'm going to put this up the top of D tier. Then we have the fishing potion, which increases your fishing in the game. It increases your fishing power. So I would have to put this either to high B or into A tier. I think for a fishing potion, we're going to go for B tier, because we know that there's something else coming up that involves fishing as well. Then we have the flasks. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't tend to use the flasks in my playthroughs, and I really should, because these things are actually a lot more useful than we give them credit for. Unfortunately, for straight off the bat, we're going to have to put the party flask into the F tier because it does absolutely nothing for us. It's just a bit of fun, and fun's okay. F for fun, yeah? But for the other flasks, I'm going to put them all into C tier. Every one of them. And they are going to be way more useful in my opinion, future playthroughs if you start making these things. because they provide all sorts of different debuffs to your attack and to your enemies. The only problem is a lot of the bosses are immune to a lot of this stuff, and you'd have to look up which bosses are actually immune to which. So you have the poison flask, the fire flask, the venom flask, the gold flask, the ichor flask, the cursed flame flask, and the nanite flask. And I actually think I'm going to have to put the gold flask real quick up into B tier, because these provide debuffs to the enemy. Most bosses, as I said, are immune, but since you get more gold when you use the gold potion or the gold flask, that's pretty beneficial, I have to say. Then we have the gender change potion, which I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I've ever used this in Terraria before. And I believe that since it's just for changing your character, we're going to put that into F tier as well. Doesn't really help increase your damage or anything, so we're just going to take it into F as a non-buff, really. Then we're going to have the Gills potion, which allows you to breathe underwater. Now, that can be a lot of fun and can be very situational. I don't personally use it very often. I don't go out of my way to make it. So I'm going to put it into D tier, just above Featherfall potion. But I have to admit, if you do anything crazy in the late game where you fight bosses in water, the Gills potion is very useful. So then we have the gravitational potion, which is a potion that I really enjoy using. So I will have to say that I might put this a little bit higher than most people. And that would probably be into top of C tier. You can use that to find all the sky islands quickly. You usually only need about 1 or 2 of these per playthrough. And once you're finished with your playthrough, or once you're finished with all the sky islands, you don't really need them anymore. So that's why it's not even higher on my list. But fun to use and very useful. When it comes to the healing potions that we have and the mana potions, I'm actually not going to put them into the tier list. Very simply because they are just healing items and they're pretty much necessary for the game. That is the Heart Reach potion. Now, the Heart Reach potion is actually an item that I find that is bad for your playthrough. I'm pretty sure that there's some people out there who have found a place for the Heart Reach potion. But usually what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid picking up hearts on the ground when I'm fighting bosses. And I want to wait until I actually need them before picking them up, and the Heart Reach potion means you pick them all up very quickly when you don't need them. And I'm actually going to put this into F tier because of that reason. You let me know if you've found a way to use the Heart Reach potion, but honestly, if I'm using it, it means I'm picking up all my hearts at once when I don't need them all. Then we have the Hunter potion, and the Hunter potion allows you to see your enemies. Like a Spelunker potion for enemies, and especially if you're looking for specific enemies that are going to give you drops, it's very useful. Otherwise, it's not great. Now, because I don't use this item very often when I'm looking for specific enemies, because I'm going to kill everything on the screen anyway, it's not going into A tier. If it was a Spelunker potion for enemies for drops, and I wasn't going to go around killing everything anyway to reduce the spawn or get everything to respawn, it would be an A tier. But because of everything I just said, I'm going to put it into B tier. Then we have the Inferno potion. Now the Inferno potion is one of my favorite potions in the game because it does fire damage and it looks cool. It's iconic in Terraria, and it also gives you light, which is very important early game. The only problem with the Inferno potion is it's expensive to make, and if you want to use it before a Wall of Flesh, it's also very slow to get. You're going to be fishing for a long time. And because of that, I am going to put it into A tier. But the reason why it's not an S tier is because of how expensive it is to make. And they made it a lot easier to get it pre-Wall of Flesh because you can fish in lava now, no problem. You just have to know how, of course. But it's still going to take ages to get this item. So I think we're going to stick it into A tier. Then we have the Invisibility Potion. The Invisibility Potion I'm going to stick straight into D tier And I am going to put it actually at the bottom of D tier. Not knowing where your own character is for your own hitbox is a pain in the ass, and that's why I don't like it. I'm pretty sure people have found ways to use it. I just don't like the item. Then we have the Iron Skin Potion, which is an iconic potion in Terraria. Everyone should have it at all times. It increases your armor, but because the armor increase isn't great, especially late game, I think we're going to bump it down to high B tier. I was going to put it into A tier, but because it's only a small defense boost, I think it's better if we put it into B tier. The Lesser Restoration Potion and the Restoration Potion we're going to put in with the other potions because it's not going to affect the gameplay apart from your health. Strange Brew we are going to put onto our list just real quickly. It is connected to the restoration potions, so that's why we're skipping ahead here real quick. And I'm going to put it onto D tier. I am going to put it actually high D tier because there is a very small chance, well, there's a significant chance to provide a little bit of invulnerability, which is very important in Terraria. The Life Force Potion. The Life Force Potion increases your maximum health. It's one of the only ways to increase your maximum health once you have all of the life fruits in Terraria. It's pretty much a must-have against Master Mode Moonlord, Empress of Light, and other bosses in the late game. Martian Madness, for example. Expert mode, I suppose, as well. You should probably use it. I don't think it's as necessary. Classic mode, it's not as necessary again, but it's really good to have. And I think this is going to be our first entry into S tier. Honestly, Life Force Potion, anything that can increase your health by that much, and it's above and beyond what you can get from the life roots, is 100% S tier in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section. The Magic Potion is very useful for lots of things, but if you can make it early game and use it with the Meteor Gun and Meteor Armor, it's very useful. So I'm definitely going to have to put this into B or C tier. And because most of the ingredients or utility items that we have in B and C tier don't actually affect your damage that much, apart from maybe the Archery Potion, we're going to have to put this high B tier. If we're putting the Magic Potion to higher B tier because it does damage increase, whereas everything else is utility, then I think we're going to have to put the Archery Potion up as well. Let's put the Archery Potion just above the Magic, I think behind. The Archery Potion will affect more than the Magic Potion in my playthroughs at least, so I think we're going to have to put the Archery Potion above the Magic Potion. It's used in more items. So, and it'll save you a lot of holy arrows if you use the Daedalus Stormbow. So I put these two guys together because they look very similar and it's kind of hard to figure out which one is which. And then this one I stuck in here because it's connected to this one. So bear with me. The Mana Regeneration Potion, I think I'm going to stick that very quickly into C tier. Mana Regeneration is always important, but this is not that game changing. Then we have a D tier for the Teleportation Potion. They're very useful, very utility. I'm going to actually have to put this a little bit higher. I have to put it behind the Featherfall Potion, I believe. Yeah. And this item will teleport you to a random location on the map, which can be very good for finding items, but it's obviously depends on how lucky you get, and if you're not doing speed runs, it's a bit of a waste. And then we have the Recall Potion. Now, a lot of people are going to be wondering why I'm going to put the Recall Potion so high if I do put it high here. So the Recall Potion is obviously great for recalling. Magic Mirror replaces the Recall Potion. I'm pretty sure most people in here sell their Recall Potions as soon as they get them after the Magic Mirror. But if you didn't know, there is no delay when you use a Recall Potion. There is a delay when you use the Magic Mirror, which means Recall Potions are actually faster than the Magic Mirror, which means I think we're going to have to put that in high C tier. If you're ever in a really bad situation, especially in the pillar section of Terraria, and you're about to die, use the recall potion as quickly as possible over the magic mirror, and you'll get out of there about half a second to a full second faster because there's no animation delay. Anyway, I'm going to be thinking about that one. Let me know what you think. Then we have the mining potion. I think the mining potion has to go into high C tier as well. We're going to put the mining potion to high C tier because it's useful, especially if you're looking for items. It's for utility and it doesn't increase your damage in any way. Because of that, I'm going to put that into C tier. Then we have the Night Owl potion. Light in Terraria is always very important. So I'm going to stick that in just behind the mining potion in C tier. The Obsidian Skin potion is very important for getting Hellstone, which is very important to progress the game. So it has to go into B tier. Where are we going to put it? I think we're just going to put it behind the Iron Skin potion. Very important item. Then we have the Rage potion, which increases critical chance. If you're going for a critical build in Terraria, you're going to do a huge amount of damage. So it's a very, very good item. Whether or not it's S tier, we need to figure that out. Critical damage builds. I think Terraria is more of a damage and damage negation game rather than a critical build game. Now, critical builds can be very strong. This item is also a bit of a pain to make. So I think we are going to put that into A tier. In second position, just behind the Inferno potion. Regen potion is very important. Regen in Terraria is also very important. I'm going to have to put this into B tier. I was going to put it next to the Iron Skin potion, but I think the Obsidian Skin potion is slightly more important than this. So we're going to put it in between. We're going to put the Obsidian Skin potion in between Iron Skin and Regen potion. Then we have the Swiftness potion. I know I'm skipping here a little bit, but I'm going to put that in right next to the Regeneration potion in B tier. Then we have the Shine potion. I did mention earlier that the Night Owl potion increases your vision. Anything that increases vision and darkness is important. Use these two together so that you can actually see. Sonar potion, very, very important. I'm going to have to put this in pretty high. I think we will put this just above the fishing potion, which isn't as high as I was thinking in my head there, but it's still high enough. Mid B tier. The Spelunker potion, and this is a utility item. It doesn't increase your damage in any way, but I have to say we need to put this in pretty high, because if it wasn't for this item, you would be looking for ages for things. So I think I'm gonna have to put this into A tier, honestly, just above the Crate potion. Then we have the Stick Bomb, which is going into F tier, purely cosmetic and a waste of time. Then we have the Summoner potion, and no matter what class you're going for, as long as you're allowed summons, you need this in your arsenal, honestly. And because of how powerful the Summoner potion gets towards endgame, it has to go pretty high, in my opinion. Now, you could almost classify this as a damage item. It doesn't increase your stats directly, but because it increases the damage of some of the most powerful items in the game, we're going to have to put this very, very high up. I am almost tempted to put that into A tier, just behind the Inferno potion, and we're going to have another think about that as we get to the end of this. Then we have the Thorns potion, which is very important. You should have this item at all times. I definitely think if the Iron Skin potion is in B, then we should put it just behind the Iron Skin potion, and only because the Iron Skin potion should be in your inventory at all times, and the Thorns potion should be in there as much as possible. Now we're getting to the fun items. We have the Titan potion, increases knockback, which actually can be a bad thing which lowers its points. I know knockback sounds great and everything, but it's literally going to put your character in a position where your enemy has changed position based upon your attack, and now you have to adjust. So you could end up either putting it out of range, or you might not be able to aim at it as easily because you're moving it around the place, the enemy I mean. And because of that, it has to go into A or B tier and not S tier. I think this item is still very useful, especially if you use it correctly. So I think we're going to have to put this into the A tier. Then we have the warmed potion. I actually really like this potion because cold-based enemies in Terraria can be a pain, but by the time you get around to making this, probably already going to be immune to most debuffs in the game. Still very useful, but not as useful as it could be. I honestly think they should buff, pardon the pun, this item, and I definitely think we're going to have to put this way lower than it deserves to be. I am thinking just behind the swiftness potion into a B tier. We have the water walking potion, which I don't usually use very much, but it is very situational and very useful in certain situations. I'm going to stick it into D tier with the gills and featherfall potion. I believe it's slightly more useful than the gills potion, so I'm going to put it here. Then we have the wormhole potion, which is very useful, especially if you want to organize multiplayer. But once again, I'm not going to use it very often. I'm pretty sure you guys don't use it as often as you could, and for that reason, I'm going to put it into high F tier. It's not the most useful item. And then straight away, I'm going to actually put the flipper potion in here as well. And then we're going to leave our last potion as a pretty cool potion. And the flipper potion, I'm going to have to put that into D tier behind the featherfall potion. Once again, it's very useful in certain situations. Then we have the wrath potion, which increases our damage done. And I have to say that this item, because it's easy-ish to get, it's going to be in a good position, I believe. I think that we are going to have to put the wrath potion into S tier. Very simply because it increases your damage, and anything that increases your damage properly in this game, pure raw damage, is worth using, or is literally the best. And it's simply because you can get rid of your enemies before they get rid of you. The sooner you can kill something in Terraria, the better. So this is our list, but I think we need to start doing some housekeeping here. There are some items in here that are in the wrong places. You're probably thinking completely different ones to what I'm thinking right now. So first of all, we definitely have to get the crate potion either out of A tier, or we have to get the sonar potion into A tier. So we are going to do this. I mentioned already that the A tier is mostly items that are going to increase your damage or increase your damage reduction or damage resistance. And everything in there, apart from the Spelunker potion, does that. I mean, technically the knockback potion doesn't, but it's still cool and everything. But I feel like the crate potion and sonar potion, as good as they are, they're more B tier, they're more utility. You could argue that the flasks deserve to be either higher C tier or even low B tier. But not many people use them in their playthroughs, and they definitely don't use them all. A lot of people would just skip straight to the nanite flasks. I definitely think if people use them more, they would be more useful and they would be higher on this list. Just really quickly, I'm going to pop the strange brew down a little bit. I know it's not really that important for most people in here, but having it at the highest of D tier is probably not the best idea. Let's stick that down to the end of D tier. So that's our list. that is our list. We have some of the coolest potions in Terraria in S tier, some of the most iconic items in A tier, and then some of the must-haves in B tier. So I think we did pretty okay here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What would you put where? What would you change? Anyway, thank you very much for watching today's video. I will see you again in the next one, and ta-ta!